Alright guys, in the last video we made it so that we created our Vue.js component and we have it displaying, which right now it's just displaying an H1. So we're going to now start to work on our template. So I want to create a form to add a contact. Alright, so let's go over to contacts.view, and inside here you actually want to wrap everything inside the template within a single element. So I'm going to do that with a div. All right, because if we tried to, put an H1 and then a form and so on, and we didn't have this single element, we'd get an error. All right, so under the H1, let's go ahead and put in the form. And let's see, we don't need a class. And for the action, I'm just going to put a number sign in there. We're not actually submitting it like we would if we were using, PHP. We're going to submit it to our Vue component. Now, what we want to do here, since this is going to be used for the add form, the add contact form, and the edit form, we want a conditional to see if it's in the edit state. Okay, so we're going to use edit as a property. If it is in the edit state, it's going to call update contact. If not, it's going to call create contact. So what we can do here is we can say submit dot prevent, and then we can set that to, let's say, edit. Is that right? Yeah, edit, and then we can do a shorthand conditional here. If it's in edit, then we're going to call update contact. All right, and if it's doing an update, it needs the ID, which we can get with contact.id. And then we'll put a colon here. This is basically else. So if it's not in edit mode, then we're going to do create contact. Just like that. Okay, this way we don't have to have two separate forms, one for creating a contact and one for updating. Now for the form, let's put in a div here. We'll say class form group. All right, then we're going to put a label. And this is going to be the name, and then an input. Okay, type is going to be text, and then for name, that is going to be name. And let's see, we want to get rid of this value here, and let's put a class of form control. All right, and then what we want to do is bind this input to one of the properties of this component, which is going to be the name property. So if you've ever used Angular or Angular 2 and you've used ng model, this is very similar. We're going to say vModel, and we're going to set that to contact.name. All right, and then let's just copy the form group here, and we'll put another one. This is going to be the email. And we're going to change this to contact.email, and the name is also going to be email. And then we'll paste in one more. This is going to be the phone number, so that'll be contact.phone, name, will be phone. Okay. And then again, we're going to have a different button if this is a new contact or an updated contact. So let's go down here. We'll put another form group, I guess. Okay, and then in here we're going to have two buttons. All right, so we'll say type equals submit, and we're going to put a directive here called vShow, which will show or hide it depending on a certain value. So if we're not in edit, then this is going to show because this is the create button. All right, so let's say new contact. All right, and let's see, we're going to add a class as well. We don't need a name here, so I'm just going to get rid of that. And we'll say class btn, btn 6, actually let's do primary. Alright, so that'll only show if it's not in edit mode. Then I'm going to copy this, paste that in, take away this exclamation, because now this is only going to show if it is in edit mode, and then this is going to say update contact. All right, so that's our form. Now if we save it, remember I have npm run watch running here, so it's going to look at all of our Vue components and update. Now if I reload, we're getting an error here. It says property or method contact is not defined. And it's talking about this here, contact name, contact email. It doesn't know what contact is. So what we have to do is go down here to where our data is, and inside the return object, we're going to have edit, which we're going to set to false, and this is the edit that this is looking at. Okay, that and this. It's going to initially be false. And then let's see, we're also going to have list, which is basically going to represent the array of contacts. And then we're going to have the contact itself, which is going to be an object. Okay, and it'll have an ID. It'll have a name, email, and phone. Alright, so let's save that. Whoops, what happened? I must have closed that out. Alright, so that was saved. If we go over here and reload, now we have our form. We have no errors because it now knows that contact and edit are values for this component. Alright, hopefully that makes sense. Now, when this form is submitted, it's going to either go to create contact or update contact, so we need to create those. So we're going to go under where the data is, and under mounted, put a comma right here, and then we're going to say methods. Okay, so methods is going to be an object of methods. So first one we'll do here is create contact, which is going to be a function. Okay, and then we'll put a comma here, and then under that, let's do update contact. All right, and just to test it out, let's go ahead and do a console.log, and we'll just say create contact, or let's say creating contact. Alright, and then we'll just, let's see, what do I want to do? Let's just return and save. And then if we go over here, and let's just submit anything, down here you'll see creating contact. It's getting submitted to that. Alright, now if we were to set edit to true, put it in edit mode and reload, you'll see that now we get update contact, and it's going to get submitted here. Okay, so we'll say updating contact, and remember the update needs an ID, which is being passed in, so we'll say updating contact, and then let's just do we'll concatenate the ID. Alright, so now let's save that, and actually it's not going to work because it doesn't know what the contact ID is because we're not actually fetching it yet. But we'll just keep that as it is now. Alright, but now that we have the form, in the next video we're going to install Axios and make it so that when we submit the form, it makes a request to our backend API and adds the contact.